if you have a question that wasn't answered, you have the time to come up and you can address it to one person to everyone. I think I'm stealing Adam's thing. So please, please, please be respectful, guys, and listen. And listen, not too loud. No murmur.
All right, hello everyone. Can you hear? Yeah, so? Can you hear me now? No? That's how you do it. This one better? Okay, so without further ado, welcome to Speakers Night. On behalf of the campus newspaper, I'm Adam Young. It's my pleasure to host this event for you. Keep your cheers and boos as brief as possible so we can get through as much as possible before the dawn of lecture start at 7. So we'll try our best to get us up and ready for that. You all can hear so-so? Better now?
Everyone shut up! I can't hear!
So the loudest the mic gets, so unfortunately that's the best we can do. So how this is going to work, we have some questions based on subjects. We're going to open up with a 1-minute presentation of their platform for each candidate. From there, there'll be subject-specific related to each VP section. The president candidates will answer every question. The time limit for the most part will be 1 minute, except for our special added bonus this year will be a presidential debate section, and that'll be up to 45 seconds instead. So, to start with, and if this mic doesn't work as well, just come take this one from me. We're going to start by introducing to you your presidential candidates. Beginning with alphabetical order with Jason Earl. So everyone, Jason Earl.
Let's see if you hear me. Can you hear me in the back? We're good? Okay. So hello, are you counting now? We're good? Okay. My name's Jason Earl. I'm currently your Vice President of Student Affairs, and I've been here for 2 years now at Bishop's University. Woo! I'm studying education and social studies, and I want to be your president this year. In my office, I have a quote on my wall. This is the quote. Your life is now. Seize it and make it amazing. Discover your passion and pursue it. Let your heart be your guide, and above all, make every moment count. Well, my passion is student representation, and next year I'd like to be your president. And my platform is focusing on student representation. Specifically, I want to make life meaningful for you. I can't see your orange thing at all in the back. You need to move. And I want to be able to incorporate next year facilitation of the student voice to make your representation meaningful. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Angie Lanza.
Okay, wow, that made me feel really good. Thanks, guys. I'm just going to dive right in. I'm Angie, as you guys know, and I'm running for president. And I'm just going to start telling you what I want to do, how I'm going to do it, and why I want to do it. So what I want to do is I want to create a community-centered, open-minded, supportive student environment in which you know who your SRC representatives are, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, okay? How am I going to do that? I'm going to make it happen by having us go out to the student body. We're going to find you, we're going to figure out what you want, we're going to interact face-to-face, not just through the internet, and we're going to figure out what your needs and your wants are. Why do I want to do this? Because I am a proud Bishop's student member. I've experienced clubs, I've strong exchange, and I've come back and I love Bishop's University, and I want to make sure you guys are able to say what you want to say. We're going to listen and we're going to do what needs to be done for you. Thanks, guys.
All right, next up we have Alex Cupcake Roy.
This isn't that bad, actually. Hey guys, I'm Alex Roy, or Cupcake, as most of you know me by. I'm running for president. I'm also currently the communications manager for the SRC, as well as I'm on the rugby team, if you didn't know that. Basically, what would make me a good president is that what I tell kids when I tour them as a student ambassador is two things. There's two parts to being a university student. One of them is going to class, getting your degree, and that's all fun and games, but then there's the other part, which is growing as a human being. And the SRC's job is to make sure that every student has the ability to get engaged at every level, and we need to facilitate ways that students can get involved so that they can grow. Not just as a student, we go to class and learn their lessons and get their degrees and pass their exams, but to be able to feel what I felt when I came here to Bishop's. That's the greatest thing that Bishop's ever gave to me, was discovering who I was, and I'm forever indebted to this school, and so I'd love the opportunity to give that back to our students.
Next up, we have the VP Social candidate. There's only one, Mike Thomas.
Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Mike Thomas. Some of you guys know me as Frosh Week Mike. But this past year, I've had the great opportunity to work at the SRC for Orientation Week Coordinator and SEC Student Events Coordinator. So I really feel like all that has taught me a bunch of experience that I can really bring to the table for the VP Social. But yeah, this year I helped do a bunch of new events. We did the color run, which was never done before, and that helped raise a bunch of money for Shinorama. We got the numbers in for Shinorama. Last year we had 4,500, and this year we had 8,500. So I mean, we killed it this year, and I would love to perform that well again. And then also we did a ball hockey tournament this year that was beautiful, and that was really well done. So I'd love to do everything we did this year, but do it better next year. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we have two VP academic candidates. First, we'll begin with Catherine Kentros.
All right, okay, so hey guys, I'm Catherine Kentros, your current on-campus student affairs representative on the SRC. I am now running for your Vice President of Academic Affairs for 2014-2015. So I had this whole speech prepared sort of thing to kind of introduce myself, but I'm kind of just gonna not read it out because I realized just by standing in front of here that my love for Bishop's is just so intense and undeniable. And why should you vote for me for VP Academic? Well, because hey guys, it's all about the ratio. Academics is what we're here for, and balancing that work and that play is what I really want to do. So vote for me for VP Academic. Like I said, in just my very first few months of being at Bishop's University, I was elected on the SRC to represent you guys on campus as your student affairs rep. And so I really want to continue being an active member of the SRC. And that means my time is up. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Just to clarify, orange paper, you got 15 seconds. But it's okay. No, that's fine, yeah. You don't know, okay? Next up, we have Chelsea McClellan.
So when I do something, I make sure that I do the best possible thing ever, just to prove that when I do something, the end result is going to be as best as it can possibly be. So, Allie did a good job this year, but often all you need is your eyes to see a situation or a position in a whole new light. I can't promise the sky, the moon, or the sun, but maybe commitment, organization, more smooth office to run trunk student VP relation, we will be. You just need to vote for Chelsea. Responsibility, reliability, accountability. We'll just check all of the above. You may think I'm just saying it's been true. This is something that I love. See me now, you agree, so go ahead and vote for me. I would stand between you, admin, faculty, and staff. I would happily communicate on your behalf. Past experience is something I'm not lacking. President of my high school and then of Champlain, was a member of academic committees, rep of the student for like a million meetings. This is no secret. Your academic matters are my main interest. Express to me your questions and concerns, working together to make a difference. I have all these ideas going on in my head of all the things I want to do, but all I really need is for you to give me the opportunity to. Thank you.
You never know what you're going to get. Next up we have VP Student Affairs candidates, there's 3. We'll start off with Ethan Densmore.
Happy hour looks a lot different from up here. So, for those of you who don't know, my name is Ethan Densmore, and I'm running for Vice President of Student Affairs. I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Love to snowboard, just chill guy. Yeah, pretty chill, I'd say. So I'm not going to come up here and just like tell you guys that I'm going to do crazy things, but what I will promise you is that I will put my best foot forward and work hard for you. Next year, I don't want to step on the feet of anybody who's in the SRC already and who's already implemented a great program, but I will ensure that we maintain a close relationship with the Bishop's community, and that most of all, we keep the interests of the students in mind. I'm kind of like the gym class try-hard. The kid that you always hate is like, why does he try so hard in gym? But that's me, and I will continue to do that through my life, and I will do that especially for you here as VP Student Affairs. Thank you.
Next up we have Matthew Robinson.
Hello everybody, my name is Matthew Robinson. I'm in my second year here at Bishop's. I'm studying sociology and international studies. I would really love to be your VP of Student Affairs. I was fortunate enough to serve on the SRC last year as your on-campus student events coordinator. I had a blast, I learned lots, and now I want to bring that back to the VP position. Something I'm really looking forward to is making sure that the student voice is heard, having you guys represented. I want you guys to know that when we hear you, you see what we are doing. I want to be transparent, and I want to make sure that you guys are aware that we're actually really fighting for your best Bishop's experience. Someone recently asked me, what was the best choice that you have ever made? And the first answer that came to mind was choosing Bishop's. And I want to make sure that for our entire student body, choosing Bishop's is a good choice for you too, so.
And finally, we have Andrew Sass.
Alright, hi everyone, my name's Andrew Saws, and I decided to run about Thursday last week, and since then I have actually gone around everywhere. I've talked to the head librarian, I've talked to the managers at the gym, and I've talked to Adam Peabody, a whole bunch of people of what the stuff I want to do and see if it's feasible or not, and you know, it actually is possible. Who's in the happy hour club here? Isn't that amazing that we have a club dedicated to drinking? So some of the plans that I want to bring to it, one of my biggest ones is a dream that every school has that we don't, is a student radio. I talked to Jackie Bailey not that long ago about adding things to like Frosh Week, like for example a float, where we all would go and do a float. Could you imagine? And then even something as small as gym hours extended. I've been doing work already, so let's get this thing going. Let's make the SRC something good.
Alright, so to start off our round of questioning, we have a question for all the candidates up here, and I'm only going to give you 30 seconds to answer. Thank you so much. I'm only going to give each 30 seconds to answer, just in case it gets redundant. But this is on a big issue SRC seems to have continually, annually. Communication. So, we have the dish now running 2 times a week. We have other changes, and of course, the SRC is always trying to improve communications to what's going on, specifically with your departments. And it's a continual challenge. So how can the SRC improve communications to the body, and what kind of approaches should we expect from you if you were to be elected? We're going to go all the way around, and I'm going to start here. The next time I'll start there.
Hey guys! Can I just remind you that people are going to be... Oh, Cam, come on. People are going to be answering questions and to give them respect. Thank you.
It's too close to the speaker? Yeah. I feel like right now, with the way that the webmail what's coming across for emails is not necessarily getting across to students as well as it should. So even if things like communications with Alex was to go across as a newsletter on, let's say, Facebook as well, or Twitter, which isn't really possible because it's 140 characters, but Facebook especially is a huge social network, and using that to get all of the messages across instead of just certain events would definitely be useful.
Thank you. Next.
As you guys just heard, I talked about the student radio, and that would be one great way. And last semester, I talked to one of the journalism professors, Chad Gibbs, about starting and how we would go about it, and he knows the manager at CJMQ. So if we bring that back to the student unity building, that's a whole other way for you guys to have jobs and interact with the student body, and you can hear it. So.
Thank you. Next.
So in terms of communication, I know that everybody has a lot that they want to share with the SRC about how to make the school better. We've seen people, the recent Bishop's Gossip Girl, that's a way that people want to have their voices heard. I want people to feel comfortable coming up and talking to us as people. I want to be known. I'm an RA, I know all my residents. I want to be known as a vice president. I want to talk to people. I want people to come and talk to me. And so I really like the idea of personal communication, direct and open and transparent for the SRC.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well that's a particularly poignant question for me since I am the communications manager and I do write the dish. I'm sorry. I did have it shortened down to 2 a week because I felt I was cluttering already cluttered student inboxes, and I'd love to cut down on that further if we can find alternate ways to communicate with the student body, whether it's Bishop's Radio, which I have talked to Andrew about, and I've lined up like over a dozen DJs that would be interested in playing music or getting events out through a radio or an online podcast. So that's one way, and then just improving our communication, having more direction for our communications department, whether that be Twitter, Facebook, email, is just making sure it's a cleaner, more open lines of communication so you guys feel you can communicate with us, and then we can take that, make decisions, and give them back to you.
Thank you.
I think that we've really tackled the internet already, and I think we need to start having more face-to-face interaction with our students. Maybe going around to classrooms, second week of school, introducing who the SRC representatives are, what we do, how you can get a hold of us. Maybe going to Dewey's, introducing yourself to the first-year students who are a little bit more nervous to come into the office. Making sure we actually know what the students want, and even at social outings, we've got so many of them, we need to have more representation of SRCs going around and sharing our achievements and sharing what the university is doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's two things that I'd like to address. One is communication with the students, not communication to the students. So a concern for me is that the communication to the students I think is kind of good, but it needs improvement. But the communication from the students back to the SRC is lacking. And that's the area that I think that the SRC needs to address, and I think it needs to be widespread. So it's not just using email, it's not just using social media, but agreeing with Angie and what everyone else has to say. It has to be in a variety of mediums, in a variety of ways, and it has to be two-way communication.
Thank you.
So communication is key for trying to find some sort of way to improve all fields of our education. If you want to improve administration, we need to find some sort of unified location to really reach out to the students and tell them what's going on with clubs, with academics, with centers, with programs, so we all know what's going on in a unified location.
Thank you.
So I feel like every day now we're constantly bombarded with, social networking, social media, our phones, our text messages. And I feel like in a school, a great way to communicate would be to have a very active and very frequently updated website. So I feel like students would reach out to that more. And also, I can't stress the point more about the SRC's open door policy. Nothing beats face-to-face communication and interaction with your peers, with people in the student body, and just the student association in general.
Alright, so Bishop's University is super good with the community aspect, and I believe that's because we have a lot of, like Andy said, face-to-face communication, but that needs to be apparent for the entire student body, so first years all the way up. It doesn't matter if you can't communicate, you have to be able to want to communicate, and want to have your voice heard, so that's crucial for the SRC to understand, and for all the students to understand.
Thank you. Perfect. All right, my next question is for the presidential candidates, so you can just pass the mic back down. We'll start with Jason with this one, and the next time I'll switch it back and start with Cupcake. Student services. Oh, sorry, that's the next one. Administration enough.
What was it?
Administration. What should the relationship between the administration and the SRC be at Bishops? What work will you do as chair of community of the life of the university in making sure the students' concerns are being met and the administration is being held accountable to the students, making their rights known, having that option of going and knowing who to talk to and who to address issues to? What kind of relationship do you imagine with the administration of Bishops? You have 1 minute to answer.
So strictly, the relationship between the SRC executives, the SRC as a whole, and the administration of the university should be one that is very professional. We need to be taken seriously, and I don't think the SRC is taken seriously enough. So I think it's on the executives of next year to improve the relationship with the administration and also lead some of the conversations. CLU, Committee of Life at the University, is a wonderful tool for us because the president of the SRC chairs that, and that's a committee of the Board of Governors. So we also have some leeway there where we can actually direct the conversation and also hold the university accountable as a whole. But I would like to stress it needs to be professional and we need to be taken seriously.
Thank you. Okay, Angie.
Right now, we're pretty fortunate at Bishops to have a good relationship with the administration, and we need to continue to strengthen that relationship by having strong representation on all of our committees with all of our students as well. So we need to take the voice of our students and be able to voice that in an appropriate, professional manner with the administration and work with them to achieve the hot topics that our students want to achieve.
Thanks, Angie. Okay.
You used the word accountability. I think the word accountability is a great word. I think that the power at a small school of having a close relationship between the student representation and the administration is very important, but in terms of our role with the administration, I think is to apply pressure where the students need pressure applied to administration. To give you an example, the timetable that was released about a week before we had to register for classes. A good example is that our role as the SRC would be to work with the administration to see where they can clean up their operations and where they can make the timetable available sooner. So we need to recognize where pressure needs to be applied and apply it professionally and efficiently.
Good, thank you. My next question is geared towards the VPs of Student Affairs, but also the presidential candidates will be answering this. So we can bring it all the way to the end and then we'll switch it up next time. I don't need to tell you about the complaints that come through the school regarding the Student Affairs office. You can take a look at any social media stream and perhaps see people venting about that. What kind of access and expectations do you have working with the Dean of Student Affairs in that regards, be it disability services, counseling services, for us students to restore faith that that office is serving the best interests of students? Is that clear enough? Okay, 1 minute, each of you.
I feel that with the stuff that went around Facebook about Dean of Student Affairs and not taking the proper steps with students on certain cases, should probably readdress, because I feel that Bishops does a great job with student affairs and how they handle stuff. Maybe if one person had their own experience, it doesn't change that for the rest of the students and for everybody else who works here. I think that students shouldn't have lost any faith. If they've had their bad experience, then maybe it's on us to talk to that person in general and have them come to us, rather than just seeing it on social media and not knowing how to properly deal with that one situation.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
In regard for the student services, I think we need to remind everyone how helpful and amazing the staff there are, because I've used them myself and when I needed help, and they are extremely helpful. They offer so much. They give you any possible thing you need, and the thing is, but we have to remind students, we have to keep letting them know that they're there for us. We are paying them, and if we're not happy for them, then we need to address the problem, and we need to go at it in a manner that is acceptable for us to do it, so we can do it by faith. So if we'd have a problem, you'd come to us and then we'd represent you for it. They're amazing. They're great people, and we need to keep using them.
Building off of what Andrew said, I just want to say that our Student Affairs Department has our best interests at heart. Sometimes it's easy to forget when we have to deal with long lines or waits and we don't feel like we're getting the attention we deserve. But we need to remember that they are there for us. They are doing their best to make sure that we are surviving our university experience. We need to, as the SRC, open the lines of communication, but as others have said, between us as the student government and the student body and the administration to make sure that they're aware of the concerns that we have and express those in a productive manner that will actually go towards making a difference. And as I said before, I want that action to be transparent so that people are aware of what steps are being taken to improve the student affairs offered at Bishop's.
As far as student affairs go, I think that if students have lost trust with their student affairs department or don't feel comfortable approaching our student services, I think that's pretty tragic, because there's an entire second floor of the sub just halfway to your Tim Hortons that's dedicated to helping you through anything you need. There's counseling services available, and as president, I'd like to make that a very important part of the work that I do, is making people aware what's available, because as university students, just take mental health as an example, we are one of the largest demographics of mental illness sufferers, but we're also the least attentive to our needs. We just tend to self-medicate or just ignore our problems, and social stigma is part of that, and attacking social stigma is not a job for one group of people. We have to do that as society, but what we can do is we can make our counseling services more transparent, and well, not more transparent, more visible, and make sure that kids, they know that they're there for you.
Thank you. Just to clarify, student services versus affairs, your job, student affairs, student services will be across, just to clarify. Thank you. Go on, Angie.
You know what, just to touch on a hot topic that we already talked about right now is the fact that, you know, right now Bishop's is lacking a sexual assault policy, and I think that's something that student affairs could tackle and work together with the administration to make sure that we can put in place something that students can clearly see and can clearly use, and that we should be able to communicate with the students, as this is clearly something that's a need for the students. So we need to make it visible, make it available, and make sure that we work with the administration and the student services from the Student Affairs Department.
I'd like to start off making a correction. It's not the Disabilities Department anymore, it's the Student Accessibility and Accommodation Department. There's been a change in the language. Second, we do have sexual assault addressed in policy. There's just not a specific sexual assault policy, nor is there a specific sexual assault procedure, but it is addressed in the Code of Student Conduct. My concern with concerns regarding student affairs or student services at Bishop's is that some students don't feel that they can come forward to the SRC and voice their concerns. Instead, they're turning to anonymous social groups and voicing their concerns there. So for that instinct, that tells me that the SRC has failed in some way for some student. There's a student out there that's hurting, and they feel that the only way they can get their voice heard is through an anonymous Facebook page instead of coming forward to the support we offer. Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect. President, so we turn now to our first...
Hey, everybody! Sorry.
No problem.
We're here for speakers night. Everybody, I love that you're all here for happy hour enjoying your conversations. Some of us are trying to enjoy the speakers up here and figure out who we want to vote for. Please pipe down in the back. Thank you.
We turn now to our first presidential debate, new this year. How we're going to work this, okay? I'll give you each 45 seconds to address your platform regarding the question. Then you have 45 seconds, we'll do a quick turnaround. If you have any issues with another person's platform, or if you just have something else to say that you'd like to build off, or dare you actually steal someone else's idea and say, I thought of that too. I don't think that'll happen, but. Budget cuts, tuition increases, the right to education, the cost of education. Do you think that students should pay more for their education, for student service fees, for SRC fees? What are your opinions on the budget cuts and how they've affected students? And with rising tuition fees, how would SRC fee increases be justified, and would you pursue this?
I feel that I don't have enough information to be able to answer if we should raise or keep tuition fees as they are, but I do know that I'd like to make the students aware of the costs or what happens if we did raise tuition fees. So I'd make sure that the research would be available for the students, as well as ensuring that we communicate with them if we decided to, why we're doing it, the benefits of doing it, ensuring that the students see where the funds are going, why we would need to raise tuition fees. Also making sure that the funds that we do spend already, what they go to. Because I find a lot of students are unsure of where their money is going. So just making it more transparent for students so they're more confident in what the SRC's abilities are.
Thank you. Jason, we're going to do Jason first and Alex, then we'll switch up next time. Okay? Sorry, Alex.
I don't think we have the option at our university to say that we can raise tuition fees. We can raise student service fees, but that has to be through a referendum of the SRC, or a vote of the SRC. But what we can do is we can say that we can represent students, and we can say students wish that tuition fees would be raised, but we'd also have to lobby the government for that, right? But before that's done, I would like to recognize that last year we had a poll, and the SRC found that about 50% of students at the university said they were in favor of raising fees, about 50% said not. I believe it was a poll, correct me if I'm wrong. But then the SRC also made a motion, and that motion was that it was an impediment for the current fees that we're paying.
Thank you. Okay. Cupcake, go ahead.
I think it's important to recognize that tuition and the levy that students pay to the SRC are two separate things. If tuition goes up, that doesn't necessarily affect the amount of money that the SRC gets. How budget cuts would affect the SRC, though, is if say they had to make budget cuts and they offered less classes during spring school, and that became an issue for our students, that then becomes our job to represent our students and make sure that they're getting the best classes that they can and have all the same things that are available to them. So, yeah, short answer, but...
Thank you. Any rebuttal to anything that was said before,
No, I totally agree with what both of my fellow candidates have said. I just know that I know in the past a lot of people were really supportive of how our past president actually handled the potential raise of tuitions, which was having an open discussion directly with the students. And I know a lot of people really appreciate that, so I would make sure that that would happen again so we could have direct contact, know exactly what our students want from us.
Jason, anything to add?
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said, and I think it is imperative that we do foster those conversations with students and actually find out what the student voice is through facilitation by the SRC.
Alex, anything to close?
Well, it sounds like we're on the same page, which is makes it a tough decision for you guys. As far as raising fees go, I think an important little anecdote is something that I tell students as I tour them is that we actually voted to pay an extra $50 a year to improve our library. So students at Bishop's are at least a little bit receptive to rising fees as long as they see results. So what I don't think students want is to pay more money and not see where that's going. So there we go.
Thank you. You guys are way too kind to be debating full time, so you're lucky we're only doing 2 of those. Yeah, you don't hate each other, that seems clear. This question is for the presidents and the VP Social candidate to answer. Last year we had, we had the grant committee for clubs, which is trying to streamline club processing. How would you work with the DFO, Director of Finance Operations, to guarantee equity for all clubs as they apply throughout the year? What should we do about clubs? Are they running well this year? What can we do to change them for the better for years to come? We'll start with you.
Speak up.
All right, so for clubs, how the system works, so everyone knows, they apply to the GCC, so the GCC decides for their spending, and then the GA decides that the clubs get grants, so if anyone needs to know about that. All the information is available for everyone, and you can see the whole process. The SRC posts the minutes on their website, and so understanding the process is one thing. At any club, clubs are very easy to form. Like for example, we have the Happy Hour Club. Shout out to you guys. But yeah, if you want to start a club, it's very easy, very simple. It's really easy to get involved that way. And funding is linked to the SRC and the DFO definitely supports for the club.
Thank you. Jason, go ahead.
So last year, the grant committee for clubs was created, right? And we also said that we're going to allocate $2,000 more to clubs, so it was a budget of $22,000 to be allocated to clubs. However, last year only like $12,000 was paid out to clubs, and we had like $10,000 left, right? Something like that. I might not be perfect on the ratios. But this year we reduced it. We said, only $20,000 can be spent on clubs, but we still want to use the GCC to do the club distribution of funds, right? How I'm going to work with the DFO, I'm going to say, the DFO, you're the chair of this club, and you need to really network with the club heads and say, how can we support you to understand the process so that you can actually apply for funds and use the $20,000 we allocated?
Okay, good. Go ahead.
I think that we have, like everyone else say, we've got loads of money to share with their clubs, so we need to have more representation within the clubs, getting involved in the clubs, knowing what the clubs are all about, especially with clubs that are just starting out, be able to put a representative in there so they have a liaison, a mentor, someone that they can get information about how to grow as a club, how to develop, where they can get their funds, how to make it happen, as well as possibly designating a position specifically for coordinating clubs so that clubs are able to get the funds they need when they need it so they can put on the activities that they want to.
Okay.
All right, well I've talked to our current VP Social about this, Anna, and she says that that one of the issues with the current system is that once they apply to the GCC for money, we say, okay, you want this much, we'll give you this much, and then it goes to a vote at the General Assembly, and then the president signs off on it, and the issue there is getting that information back to the clubs because they don't know whether they've been approved or denied. So in terms of just having more, we've all said it, open lines of communication between the executive and the clubs to make sure they know what we're thinking, because we give money to the clubs based on their fundraising efforts, and so they just need to know what we're thinking. And someone said open door policy, so we should have an open door policy with our clubs. They should feel comfortable coming to us for help or just for more information.
Thank you, perfect. My next question is for the presidents and the VP academic candidates. Academics encouraging learning. So we have initiatives such as STEP seminars, put in the hands of the VP academic. Get definitely poor attendance this last semester. How do we make these kind of events successful? How do we get students actually coming out to them, considering it's in the hands of the VP Social to help coordinate those? And what other initiatives would you like to see implemented? If not the STEP seminars, what would you put in its place? I'll each have a minute to answer it. We'll start, and then actually, once we have the presidents, we'll start with Cupcake and then move back. All right? Go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
All right, so something really important that I wanted to bring up on behalf regarding academia would definitely be ensuring a very strong and more vivid academic presence during orientation week. So during the first week of school, during Frosh Week, I think it's so important because after all, we are here to get an education and we want that to be a valuable one. Now, unfortunately, yes, the attendance for STEP seminar might have been poor. However, there are other academically oriented events where attendance was very, very strong, such as the wine and cheeses. Now, for other STEP seminars, I plan on varying the times and dates of those to make it more accessible to state students who have labs or practicums on Friday, so varying that.
Good, thank you.
I think when we ask ourselves why the STEP seminars aren't attended as much, we have to ask ourselves, why aren't they? One of my main goals is to perhaps communicate with the students to really figure out what they're interested because if they're not attending the STEP seminars, then perhaps they're not interested in the topics that are being discussed. So if we really encourage communication with the students and open door policy, once again, the unified board, then perhaps we can figure out what the students are interested in and then increase the number of students that go to the STEP seminars.
Thank you. We'll move it to Cupcake first.
All right, as far as the STEP seminars go, I know there's been issues with when they are. There were Fridays at 1, I believe, which was a time that law science students had labs and a time that students that don't have class on Fridays were still in bed. So maybe we look into changing where STEP is on the weekly schedule, or maybe find an alternative to STEP, whether it's we have other well-attended, like the Donald lectures, maybe something, just another lecture series, maybe not, maybe STEP isn't the right road to go down. And as far as academic orientation goes, this year we actually, our attendance at the Frost Week academic orientation skyrocketed. So I'd love to build on that and make sure that we surround Frost Week with leaders that will push their students to go to these academic orientation events and make sure they get that in them early. Yeah.
We'll go to Andrew.
I think we need to make sure that we have our VPs of our academic representatives, our senators, going out to the classroom so that students know who their senator actually is. I know that there's not enough communication where lots of departments are unsure of who to go to make sure what they want happens. I also totally agree with Chelsea, which says we need to figure out what the students want. What kind of seminars can we put out there that the students will realize, hey, I can get some valuable skills out of this. So once again, it goes back to communicating with the students, figuring out what they want, and making it happen.
Jason.
I think some great points have been made here, and I really do agree with reaching out to the students, our peers, and asking what we want, really. But I also question what the Academic Affairs Department's role is with STEP seminars. For this past year, we found out that senators and the VP Academic have kind of been overwhelmed with them because they've tried and they've tried and they've tried, and yet not many people have been engaged with them. So I really question if it's a benefit for the SRC to be doing STEP seminars, and if they do, then the topics that are discussed need to be something meaningful to students, chosen by students.
Thank you. My next question is for the presidential candidates. We'll give you 45 seconds each. We'll make it into a debate of sorts, unless you all agree with each other so easily. My question for you is, right on the set, okay? Ultimately, you're running to represent the students as president. Do you see that job as an activist? What do you stand for? What do you stand against if you were to serve as president? Let's start with Jason, and we'll move down back.
Okay, I'm going to stand up. My buttons are pink. The reason that I chose pink is because I feel that pink stands for inclusion. If you look at my buttons, they have a rainbow on it. I believe that that rainbow stands for diversity. In the rainbow, my slogan is that we are all a part of the rainbow. We are all a different shade of the rainbow. And what I stand for is inclusion, making the experience at Bishop's meaningful, and trying to drive away exclusion, and letting students come forward and feel they belong here.
What I stand for is ensuring that we are available and providing an open, friendly setting for students, going out of our way, going above and beyond, being role models to students, making sure that we are out there talking to students, and I'm all about inclusion. Most of my words are actually already taken. So, inclusion, diversity, acceptance, and also growth. Like, why not challenge each other and support each other? We're an academic institution. We're all specializing in something. Let's use that to our benefit and network with each other.
Well, my posters are purple. And I decided to use purple because I would love to be an activist of the immense positivity positivity that this school can bring to someone. I've seen students in my first year that like to lock themselves down in their room and they don't really get to learn what this school is about, and I think that's terrible because I've been able to get involved and I love this school so much, and the fact that there's students that maybe aren't having a great time at this school and aren't really getting the full Bishop's experience is it makes me sad, and so I'd love to fight that, basically.
Anything to add or refute or clarify?
I agree with everything that's been said. I feel like we guys are in alignment here, you know, it's pretty interesting. But one thing that I have to say is this year's executive, I feel that we do stand for inclusion and we do stand for everything that's been said today, right? But my concern is, I don't think students feel that they can come to the SRC, that they can come to our open doors and speak freely and have that confidential, non-judgmental conversation. And I would like to focus next year on creating that culture and really saying that at every moment we can, that we will have those confidential, non-judgmental, and open conversations with students.
I think that one thing that kind of stood out to me is that, you know, some students do come here because they want to lock themselves in the room and they want to learn about academics, and we shouldn't decide to shun those people because they are academically centered. We should actually go out of our way to make sure that they're also included in Bishop's activities, maybe different activities that will cater to them. Also, ensuring that if we do say it's going to be open door and we are going to be open judgment, then we have to make sure that we put the effort out there, not just expecting students to want to come and talk to us. We actually have to go out there and make sure they know us on a name-to-name basis, not as the SRC.
Thanks. Okay, go ahead.
All right, well, I sure hope I didn't sound like I wanted to shun students who are locking themselves in their room, because just the opposite. If someone wants to be academically orientated, I'm bad with that word, then that's their prerogative, and it's our job to make sure that they know that we are on their side. I think that it's not about whether you're an introvert or an extrovert or academically oriented or socially oriented. It's just about knowing that the SRC is there with you and behind you, and you're not some stranger to our school. You should be part of it in whichever way and whatever fashion you like.
Thank you. So, let's do it.
Okay, everyone, so the way the rest of the night is going to go is we have one last question that every candidate is going to have the opportunity to answer, so listen close. And then from there, if you had any questions that weren't answered, so pay attention so you don't ask the same one. But then you have the opportunity to line up and ask your own questions. So please pay attention. It's the last opportunity for you to hear every candidate speak on an issue.
All right. My last question for you is pretty simple. What do you want to leave students with? What kind of message do you want to leave students with before they enter voting next week? You have 30 seconds each. We're actually going to go...
It's too late, you're already
There's no problem with that. Let's go. We can... Yeah, let's do it. That's fine. I guess. Do you guys have a problem with that? You sure? Okay, go ahead.
I'm just being appreciative that the Donald lecture starts in 4 minutes and I want to go. So the message that I want to leave you with is that I'm a friendly person and I'm willing to embrace everyone no matter what they're like, okay? And that's what I stand for, inclusion, and that's all I have to say. I'm going to the Donald lecture. Join me if you want.
Alright, so what do I want to leave behind? I'll start to say I love Bishop's University, not for one thing, obviously I love the snowboarding, I love the clubs, I love all the events, but I think that's what we got to leave behind. We got to recognize we have to make everything, whether it's events, academics, just excel at every single thing and every single aspect of it, and that the culture change would last forever, so there you go.
I value everything and honor everything that the SRC has done so far, whether it's this year or the stuff that I've witnessed because of things that have been done in the past. I the students because I appreciate and I really want to make your year next year the best it could possibly be in the academic sector.
Well, you've heard everything that I already want to do, and you know how I'm going to do it. So basically, I'll just tell you why I'm doing this again. Because I am a Bishop student, and I want to make sure that you guys all feel like proud Bishop students like myself, and that you're able to proud Bishop students like myself, and you're able to enjoy all the activities that you should. And you know, I just want to make sure that I lead the Bishop student body as an open-minded leader. Thanks.
It's actually a really, really hard question. What do I want to leave behind before you go to the polls on February 11th? Basically, we took a lot of positive steps with our current SRC. Some things worked, some things didn't. I would love to continue on what works, whether that be our move toward a positive orientation week culture. Instead of throwing things to the side, completely bulldozing it, I think that the fact that we have an SRC for a year and then like we're supposed to come in and just change everything, I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I think we need to build and build and build and build.
Ever since I arrived at Bishop's, I've been trying to immerse myself in what it means to be a Gator, and I think that I have had some fantastic opportunities here. I've only been here a year and a half. I'm in my second year. I'm looking forward to the next 2 years and what they're going to hold, and I'm hoping that through the experiences that I've already had, I can support, build upon, and defend your experiences as you come here, and for all incoming future Gators to have the best experience at Bishop's.
Thank you.
Alright, over the past week, as I said, I've been going around figuring out all about the SRC in our school, and I've realized that there's so much we can do here. There's so much for potential for what we can have. We can add, we can build, and I want to be there to do it. I want to not be working and speaking for you. I want to be working with you. It's going to be, we're cooperating together. So yeah, just remember that I'm here and I've been working already. So there's, I'm kind of getting lost here. All right, vote for Andrew.
So I know that this job is going to be a ton of work, and I want you guys to just drown me in any problems, any issues that you may have, and to elect me so that I can deal with those problems because I'm ready for it. And I know that most people here, I bleed purple. I love this school. After this long